It's me, Danielle from ABC Life Support. Look, I'm in my living room, also my makeshift training room, to deliver some first aid training at home. So first of all, just to say thank you very much for popping in if you are. I don't know how to use this thing, so if I just like staring in ahead, then yes, it's just to say thank you very much for coming. So today we are going to be demonstrating some first aid training that you can do at home. So I work with an organisation, or I have done over the years, called CAPT, which is the Child Accident Prevention Trust. The Child Accident Prevention Trust do an awful lot of work on preventing accidents in the home. And I just wanted to touch base with you guys just to say that we've got our kids at home during this very strange time, and the likelihood of dealing with accidents rather than anything in terms of the coronavirus are pretty high. So it's worthwhile getting a little bit of information about what you can do at home when looking after your children. So the way in which I've decided to kind of look at this today is by going from the very beginning, going from the basics. And when I'm delivering a training course, we always start from the very beginning. So a couple of things to kind of put you in touch with training first, if you've never done any, is age ranges. So the age range of this mannequin, which I'll be using to demonstrate some stuff, is what we would classify from birth to up to 1 year. And then we have the other mannequin, here, which is what we would demonstrate from 1 year to puberty. And then I've got the adult mannequin out in the hallway, which we would use if we were demonstrating CPR, for example, on somebody who was from puberty up to old age. So these are the mannequin age ranges. And I've also got a couple of resources that I'm going to be using with you today. The first one actually is this one. So this is what I would show on a course. This is my daughter, Hermione, who we utilise in terms of our resources. And what we would use this for is to demonstrate what could be wrong. Because I always find it quite difficult when we're dealing with kids as to what's wrong with them, how can we deal with them, how can we train, find out what's wrong with them. And actually she's conscious, so you just ask her what it is that's wrong and how she's feeling. So that's how we would kind of utilise it. If you had somebody who was lying on the floor, then we wouldn't know what's wrong with them because they're unconscious. So we start from a position of no knowledge. And in order for us to kind of demonstrate that, we use something in first aid described as DRAB. So that's danger, response, airway and breathing. If your casualty is conscious and alert, then you know that their airway is clear and that they are breathing. And I've been asked on this session to cover things like choking and severe allergic reactions, so I will get there. But like I said before, it's quite important to try and start from the very beginning. So in terms of danger, what's around us that's dangerous in order for us to be able to access that child. Response, if they're responsive, are they crying? If they're responsive, like I said, if they're crying, they've got an airway and they're breathing. So I'm going to start from the very beginning and look at somebody who is not conscious. So I've got my makeshift seat today. Excuse me for the light today. But this is my makeshift floor, just so you guys can see. And it's going through really quickly to try and find out what's wrong with the casualty and deal with them based upon the information that is that we find. So we check for danger, like I said before. We check for response. We try and get that casualty to wake up. Wakey, wakey, open your eyes, open your eyes. Nothing. And then we open the airway, so by tilting the head up. And then checking for breathing. And we look, listen and feel for breath. Looking at the stomach. Up to 10 seconds. And if the baby is breathing, we pick baby up, scoop them and put them in the recovery position. Okay, so that's the recovery position for a baby. And what that is the bottom is slightly higher than the head, and the head is tilting downwards. And this is to allow any fluids that might come out of the mouth and drain onto the floor. Obviously, at this point, we'd then call for an ambulance. The reason why I take quite not too long delivering this piece of work is because it is very quick. You know, if we found somebody was unresponsive, then it's quick what we have to do. We've got time to be figuring out what it might be or what it might not be. We have to work out based upon what information we have and act upon that. So we're checking for danger, we check for response. Wakey, 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 help, 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 help. We scoop up baby underneath the arm, underneath the neck, underneath the bottom, and tilt the chin. And that's the recovery position for a baby. Excellent. If it's an older child, then what we would do is roll that child into the position that most of us sleep in. It's quite an interesting takeaway point. Without going into too much detail and becoming this really convoluted thing, basically most humans sleep on their side, kind of with their leg over and their arm over, and that's what the recovery position kind of looks like. And I will be demonstrating that later on with one of my own offspring, just so that we can give you a little bit of an understanding for that as well. But also, while I've got your information, while I've got you, I wanted to go through a couple of other points with you, utilising some information that we have with CAT, which is the Child Accident Prevention Trust, as I said before. Let me find that for you. In the meantime, we've got some other things to discuss with you. So this one, again, this is Hermione. She's very good little actress, and she's got a nosebleed. This has to be one of the most talked about thing on our first aid training session, especially with parents and early years professionals, as to how you would deal with a nosebleed. So most people, or when we're training, they think that you should pinch your nose up here and then tilt your head back. Actually, tilting your head back is a problem because all that blood then goes to the back of your throat. So the best way to treat a nosebleed is to pinch your nose entirely and lean slightly forward, and we do that for about 10 minutes. If it's still bleeding after that, then another 10 minutes, and if it's still bleeding after that, then another 10 minutes. So that's how we would deal with a nosebleed. What I'd like to discuss with you as well going forward is choking and how to deal with the recovery position and CPR. So there's quite a lot to cover, and I'm going to be breaking this down into a couple of sessions over the next couple of weeks. So today we've looked so far at how to put a baby into the recovery position, and I'm going to go and grab a kid, and then I'm going to put that child into recovery position just so you can see how we would do that as well. So hold fire. Angle. I'm back. Just had to go and grab her. She was outside. So yes, so like I said before, we do quite a lot of work with the Child Accident Prevention Trust as well, which is all about dealing with children in the home if they come across accidents. And I can't tell you how many times when I've delivered courses before that the people that are on the courses tell me about accidents that have taken place in the home. And I think the reason is because in a workplace or in an early years professional setting, you have to have first aid training, right? It's part and parcel of your qualification. You have to have first aiders if you're going to open up your space. So it's quite important for us to have it, but we don't have to have that at home. You don't have to have first aid training at home. Here she is, the star of the show, Hermione Bridge. Say hello.
Hi.
So I'm going to use Hermione today just to demonstrate the recovery position on an older person, on an older child. So we've looked today at the recovery position on that baby, and we're now going to show people how to do the recovery position on somebody your age. You've done this plenty of times, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes, she is my little...
I am professional qualified, you know.
She's a professional actress, so she's pretty used to getting, or being used, should I say, for our videos. So if you can lie on the floor for me, please. Excellent. I'm just going to make sure that I can see you properly. So we're going to move you that way, please, my darling. That's it. Great. There we go. Awesome. So I'm going to demonstrate the recovery position. Now, the recovery position is to be used for somebody who is unconscious but breathing when you check. Okay, so they're unconscious, but when you check and open their airway, they are breathing. All right, I'm going to go through that with you so that you can see that shortly. Okay, so Hermione, can you come over here for me, please, so that we can film you a little bit more there. Excellent. So if you can just grab that, thank you. It's a whole family affair now. We've all come in. Thank you. Oh, that's it. Perfect. I think you can see that, everybody. Perfect. Yes. The light's a bit dodgy. So can you do me a favour? Just run around and shut that light. That shutter. Thanks. Right, so first we need to do is check for danger to see if there's anybody here or anything that's causing us a bit of a problem on in the area. And there isn't, so it's safe for us to approach the casualty. So we check for danger. We then check for a response. So we touch tap. Sorry, just going to move you a bit there. Is it gone? The light's gone a bit. There we go. That's it. It's perfect. So we check for danger. We then open up the airway, like so. Okay, so that's tilting the chin up, making sure that the chin is lifted. Once you've checked and lifted the chin, you check for breathing. Now, if I'm looking down Hermione's chest and her tummy, and I can see that she's breathing. Excellent. Obviously, if there was someone in the house at this point, you'd get them to call for an ambulance. We let go because we've made a decision. So we then take the arm and we get that one a bit further away. Can you see me? Can you, somebody let me know if you can see me? Because I don't know if the light's a bit dodgy on there.
Close your shutter, turn the lights
That's it. Guys, you can tell I've not done this before. Could you please make sure that you can see? Can someone just let me know if they can see me? If you can write a little comment on there. Oh, you can see me now.
Close it.
There we go. Perfect. She's still on her back, so she's still got in danger right there. So what I'm going to do is then roll her onto her side. So she's got her arm out. This is what we call the anchor arm, which stops her from rolling over onto her side. This arm here is going to be used to protect her face. So I place that next to her cheek, and then I grab her knee that's furthest away. Now, in one swift movement, literally, she flops over. Now, this means that her tongue is flopped forward. Any fluids or any saliva or any vomit she's got in her mouth will now drop to the floor. And I can now sort out this little leg there. And I just check. And I stay here until the emergency services arrive. All right? Don't worry, it's okay. Everything's going to be all right. All right? And I basically stay here. If I'm on my own, this is the only time when I can leave a casualty and go and call for an ambulance. But as we know, mobile phones are all with us these days. So I would just make that call using 999 or 112 and make sure that the emergency services are on their way. But don't ever leave anyone on their back unconscious. I'm going to show you that again in real time. So if you can go back onto your back for me, please. Excellent. She's sleeping. So really, really quickly, so check for danger, check for response, wakey, 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 help, help, help. Tilt the chin up. Don't let go of that chin because it'll just flop. Tongue block the back of the throat. Check for breathing, 10 seconds. Yep, she's breathing nice and normally. Excellent. Arms already out. Get that hand, get that knee, protect her face, whip her over, all right? Sometimes on this point in a workshop, people will say, oh, what about checking for pockets? What about checking for, rings and stuff like that? Yes, okay, if you can, please by all means do so. But at the moment, it's not really an emergency for me, especially in our homes during this time. So don't really worry about things like that because it is a time waster. And I don't want you guys to think about all of those other things when actually the most important thing is to flip them over onto their side so that their tongue and any vomit that comes out of their mouth will drain onto the floor, which is they're safe, not in the back of their throat. So the take home for you guys is don't ever leave anybody unconscious on their back because that in itself is the thing that can cause a problem, not the thing that caused the unconsciousness in the first place. Really, really, really important stuff. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. You did very well.
Thank you.
Excellent. So what we've done then so far is look at somebody who is unconscious and breathing. And we have dealt with the fact that they are unconscious, but when I've checked, their airway is open and they are breathing. Thank you guys. Thank you very much, family. Thank you. So today we've looked then unconscious people who are unconscious but breathing. Next week or the next couple of days, certainly next week indeed, I'm going to be going through what to do if somebody is unconscious, but when I check their breathing, I find that it is absent. Again, this is the basic life support stuff out of the way, because once we've got the information in our heads that tells us what to do if the very worst was to happen, then we can focus on all the other things like signs and symptoms of other illnesses. It's also been brought to my attention that during this time, people are really, really focused on, obviously, these signs and symptoms of the coronavirus. So coughing, headache, and, the other ones that we're all aware of. But I think it's really important for people to understand, especially when we're looking after people in our homes, that throughout this period, people are still going to get unwell, people are still going to have emergencies, and people are still going to have things happen to them that are outside of the coronavirus. So it's really important that we gather an understanding as to what those things look like and how we are going to respond to those. So we're looking at an emergency. The worst case, like I said before, is unconsciousness. They're either breathing or they're not. We deal with that. Everything else that we can look at is based upon a set of signs and symptoms and speaking and communicating to our casualties. In our homes, especially, I don't know about you guys, but as a parent, I can kind of know or tell if my children are really, really, really hurt. or actually if they are just responding quite quickly to something that's happened. And both of those are fine, but from an emergency point of view, I would certainly kick in if I was given any indication that there was something seriously wrong with our children. Like I said before, I got asked on the Facebook page whether or not I could do a demonstration on how to deal with somebody who was choking, a baby who was choking, and somebody who had anaphylaxis or severe allergic reactions. And I'm going to be putting a plan together after today as to what I'm going to be showing you, and I'm going to put that up on our Facebook feed so that you're aware, and that way you can pick and choose the things that you can kind of come in and watch. I'm going to be hopefully delivering an entire session, obviously with no interaction apart from my kids. I don't think they'd want to sit through lessons with me though, so I can use them as demonstrations as to what to do in the emergency. But for now, thank you so much for taking the time to come along and check it out. Like I said before, I'm a complete novice in this. I normally do this stuff standing up in front of lots and lots of people, which is fine, but technology and me is a bit ugh, so just bear with me while I get my bearings. But otherwise, have a fantastic day. Thank you very much for your time, and please leave any comments about what you would like to see or for me to cover in the comment section or on our page, and I'll come back to you certainly over the next couple of days. But otherwise, stay safe, stay indoors, and I'll catch up with you guys soon.